Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Gabby, and here on my channel, if you've never been here before, I cover true crime cases, and all the cases that I cover are a little bit older. They're all basically 20 years or older, so if that's something that you might be interested in, maybe go down below, click the subscribe button, and also make sure to turn on the post notifications to be notified every time that I upload. So I have been absent from YouTube for about a month now, and it is definitely something I did not plan. I had so many videos that I wanted to do for this month for December, which is some people's favorite series here on my channel, but life happened. I made a community post about it, and I want to thank everybody for being so supportive in the comments. It seriously made me cry, but I was very sick for the first half of the month, and then some personal stuff happened, and it just made it really hard for me to sit down and film. But let's get into what this video is about. I wanted to at least get one more video out before the end of the year, and I felt like it was appropriate because I missed December to do a December video, but have it focused on does that have been identified this past year of 2023. So that's what we're doing today. With all of that being said, let's get right into it. All of the does that I'm covering in this video are Jane Does, and for each case I am going to give a little bit of a mental refresher about the case and then get into the identification of the doe. The first doe case with an update is a Jane Doe that was given the name Miss X. I covered her case here on YouTube for December of 2021. Miss X was found on the side of Porter Road near the towns of Bear, Wilmington, and Glasgow in Delaware on March 18th of 1967. She is believed to have died in a different location from where her body had been located, leading investigators to believe someone had dumped her there after she took her last breath. It is believed she died as a result of sepsis, but due to her body being transported afterwards, she is considered a victim of homicide. No other trauma was found on her body, though. It was not only her, though, because it was discovered she had been pregnant about 3 months. There had been an abortion-inducing chemical found in her vaginal cavity, so at the beginning, they did think she had died due to a botched abortion. We really do not know the exact series of events that happened that ultimately led to her death, but she did die from an untreated infection. She was believed to be between the ages of 16 to 25, originally between 18 to 21, but they expanded it. It is believed she had dental work done about 6 months before her death. She was found with her hair tied back in a red ribbon and wearing a pair of blue bikini-like underwear, and that was it. No other clothing was found on her or near her, but her legs were inside of a white laundry bag measuring 24 inches by 36 inches and read Bag O-Storage American Laundry Dry Cleaning, capital EX4 and a space 5277. They had traced the bag to a laundry store called American Laundry in Trenton, New Jersey, and members of the family of the owner of the store claimed they thought that the woman may have been a local, but they were unsure of her name. As time passed and no one could identify her, she was buried in a potter's field in Newcastle, Delaware. Many reconstruction photos were done of her over the years, and in 2011, a vial of her blood and her hair ribbon had been located in her evidence box. They would later go through the process of genetic genealogy to try to locate some of her relatives. From her maternal side, they located individuals with familial DNA in Virginia and North Carolina, but none of them knew who she was. Just this year, in January though, the Doe Network did verify that she had been identified after 55 years. On the screen is an enhanced photo of her posted by Unidentified Wiki. Little information has been released regarding her life, and local law enforcement to the area she was found in and where she was from has not publicly verified the information. Miss X, though, was verified by the main organization working on her case as being a missing woman from New Jersey named Patrona Patmios. People called her Patra. Her memorial page on findagrave.com states that she was born in 1946, making her 20 to 21 years old when she died. And based on the state of her body when she was found, she had died recently. It briefly goes into information regarding the backstory of her identification and tells how multiple people in Greece had been helping a man there try to locate his half-sister who had been put up for adoption. He uploaded his DNA onto GEDmatch, and there had been a matched to a woman believed to be his half-sister. He and the group helping him learned of the tragedy, though, surrounding the woman and that she had died back in 1967. The man doesn't speak English, but his female friend, who does, had contacted the Delaware Forensics Division. Police in Greece obtained the man's DNA and sent it to the Delaware Forensics Division, and DNA testing was done to compare his DNA to the Jane Doe's DNA. And it showed that he was in fact her half-brother. We do not know much about her life, but we do know who her biological parents were and her adoptive ones. It is believed, of course, that someone had dumped her body and she had been pregnant, so it really makes you think, who was the father? Could he have been responsible? We don't know. So much time has passed, but there have been more updates in cases even older than this one. We will just have to wait and see. But for now, Miss X has her name back, and her remaining loved ones know what happened to her. The next Doe case we are going to be talking about is the case of New Hope Jane Doe, and I covered her case last year for December of 2022. On September 19th of 1990, a cleanup crew was working alongside Interstate 40, a little east of the New Hope Road exit in Hillsborough, North Carolina, when 15 feet down an embankment, they discovered the lifeless body of a girl. It was believed she was dumped at that location 4 to 6 days prior to being found. Her cause of death was strangulation. She was guessed to be between 14 to 25 years old, but investigators leaned more towards her being in her late teens or very early 20s. It looked as if she had natural brunette hair that had been frosted. One thing about this Jane Doe is that she had a very unique dental chart that they went off of. Unlike our last Doe, this one had never been pregnant, and her toxicology report came back negative, so no drugs of any sort were found in her system. One aspect about her case that people kept coming back to was her shirt. She was found wearing a pink sportswear sweatshirt with 3 cartoon bunnies on it. 2 of the bunnies were on bicycles and 1 of the bunnies was on a unicycle. They would find out that the original artist of the cartoon on the shirt was a man named Jim Benton, but this got them nowhere closer to finding out who she was. They mostly wanted to know about the shirt to narrow down possibly what area she bought it in. On her finger was a gold ring that was looked to be homemade, and on her wrist was a metal bracelet. She was also wearing white socks, and strangely, the bottom of her socks were completely clean. So it was like she was dumped there and then somebody stole her shoes. Sometimes killers do keep sick souvenirs. There had actually been a few supposed sightings of her walking along I-85, which was about a 20-minute drive from where her body would later be found, and then at a truck stop in the area as well. Someone could have picked her up at the truck stop, and this person may have been the one who took her life. We still don't know. They did think possibly she could have been a victim of a man who would later be arrested about 40 miles east of Hillsborough. His name has not been released to the public by authorities, but it is said he murdered multiple women in the area as a result of strangulation. Orange County officers did try really hard to question him about this specific Jane Doe, and when he was asked about her, he acted like he just did not want to talk about it. And then he eventually committed suicide. So if he was involved in her case, that information possibly left this earth when he did. This Jane Doe's remains would not be buried anywhere. They would be cremated and ultimately spread at sea. Last thing we really knew when it came to updates in this case was from the Facebook page for the case ran by a volunteer named Daphne Ownings, and she wrote in a Facebook comment, "All available evidence has been submitted for DNA processing over the years and thus far has yielded no results. I am hopeful that genetic genealogy will bring forth some answers." So at that point, they were going through with the process of genetic genealogy, and it kind of just took time to see if her DNA would possibly link up with some familial DNA in a genetic database. In September, though, of this year, New Hope Jane Doe, after 33 years, was finally identified. New Hope Jane Doe was 20-year-old Lisa Coburn Kessler of Jackson County, Georgia, an area roughly 340 miles southwest of Hillsborough. On the screen is a yearbook photo of Lisa when she was 17 years old. According to an article posted by USA Today on September 28th, Dylan Hendricks, an investigator with the sheriff's office, took over the case in 2020 and sent hair collected from the victim to Astria Forensics, a DNA extraction company focused on identifying human remains. Hendricks later connected with forensic genealogist Leslie Kaufman to identify family members from genealogy databases and other tools. Kaufman interviewed Kessler's paternal cousins, and DNA from a maternal relative helped to identify Kessler. The sheriff's office wrote the family hadn't heard from her in 30 years. Not a tremendous amount of information regarding Lisa's life has been released to the public, but we know her name was Lisa Coburn, and when she got married, her new last name became Lisa Kessler. It was a short-lived marriage, but she kept the last name. Orange County Sheriff Charles Blackwood told USA Today, "When you can't close a case, it gets under your skin. You might set the file aside for a while, but you keep coming back to it, looking to see something you didn't notice before, or hoping information gathered in ensuing cases has relevance to your cold case." Sheriff Blackwood would tell Fox 8, her book was very complex, and without getting into any details at this time, I'll just say that it was a very, very complex life that she lived. He stated that they do have a person of interest when it comes to her case, and it is a person they have questioned before. From my research, this person is not her ex-husband, and her ex-husband has been crossed off as a possible suspect. The last update online regarding her case covers her memorial. They held one at the spot where she was located back in 1990, and a white cross with flowers was placed there to remember her by. The cross was brought to North Carolina from Michigan by Lisa's aunt, Chris Kowalski, and her husband. Her aunt held her own small memorial service there for her niece, and while she was there, she played a song on her phone and just said a prayer. Investigator Dylan Hendricks told CBS 17, "It's still an open investigation. We're still working it." He went on to say, "We're trying to push it forward and gather information enough to be able to hopefully one day charge somebody and go to court. We're not to that point yet, but we're always working on this case." So from everything I just went over, it seems like they're working diligently when it comes to the next step in this case, which is identifying Lisa's killer. I'm just really happy that she finally has her name back, and I kind of had a feeling after seeing the Facebook comment about genetic genealogy that her identification was going to happen really soon. I just hope that I can come back here on my channel eventually with another update. Now, let's get into the last Jane Doe case I'm going to be covering for this video. A case where not only was the individual identified, but there has also been an arrest made. Not just one arrest, but two. I covered this case during December of last year, and I actually covered it right after I covered New Hope Jane Doe's case. This is the case of Christmas Jane Doe, or Baby Jane Doe. Unlike the other two does that I covered in this video, this doe was a child, a very small child. And I mean this wholeheartedly. Ever since I covered this case on my channel last year, if anyone asked me, what are some of the cases that affected you the most, I would always bring this one up. In 1988, only 4 days before Christmas, a logging truck driver was passing through Millwood, Georgia. Millwood is located in Ware County, and I don't know what the population was in 1988, but its population in 2020 was only 72 people. The trucker stopped on the side of the road to relieve himself near a landfill off Georgia 82 near Duncan Bridge Road and Forks Road. He spotted something in the landfill that immediately caught his attention, and that was a TV cabinet nailed shut with plywood. Something in his head told him to open it. He pries it open, and inside of the cabinet is a black suitcase made of steel, and this steel suitcase was sealed up with cement. Other than cement, it was also covered in duct tape and wrapped in plastic. Somebody did not want somebody else to get inside of this suitcase. It was not easy for him to get inside of the suitcase, but after some time, he did. Inside of the suitcase was a gym bag. Inside of the gym bag was a brown baby blanket, and inside of the baby blanket, wrapped up, was the body of a small child. The Ware County Sheriff's Office was notified of the findings and took it from there. The child was female, and it was believed she had died a month or two before she was found. They were unsure exactly how she died, but based on the results from the autopsy, it was not believed she had been shot or stabbed. Strangulation was guessed, or that she could have possibly been put in the suitcase alive. This was a clay mold done by Marla Lawson of what this little Jane Doe may have looked like in life. She was believed to be 3 to 4 years old, and they guessed her weight to be between 23 to 27 pounds, which is definitely underweight for what they guessed her age to be. She was found wearing a disposable diaper, white thermal pajama pants, children's size 4, that had a maroon trim at the bottom, and a white knit sweater with a reddish-orange pony emblem on it. Due to her being found so close to Christmas, they would give her the name Christmas Doe or Baby Jane Doe. Many people, when talking about her case, will just call her Baby Doe. One of the main men who tried to identify her for so many years was Detective Arnie Heron, and he unfortunately passed away in 2015. The department truly did so much, though, through the years to identify her and worked with so many different people and departments. There had been multiple missing children ruled out as being her, and quite a few reconstruction photos done of her through the years. Well, 35 years after she was killed, she would finally be identified. It was announced on November 13th of this year during a press conference held by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation that Christmas Doe, or Baby Doe, was 5-year-old Kenyatta Odom. Her nickname was Kiki. She was from Albany, Georgia, an area roughly 90 miles northwest of Millwood. Jason Sechrist, special agent in charge of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, stated during the conference that the identification was made after a woman called the department back in January of this year with a very promising tip. Sechrist has kept the caller's identity private from the public, but he stated she knew that there had been a child that had gone missing and that her mother had said that the child had gone to live with her father. This person never really believed that story. This tip in January made them focus on one part of the Jane Doe's family tree, and this is what gave them their big break. They had been conducting genetic genealogy on this Jane Doe, and of course with a family tree, there's a lot of different parts, so this call made them look at one specific part. The New York Times reported in an article released on November 14th, Kenyatta's mother, Evelyn Odom, 56, also known as Mecca Luciana, and her mother's former live-in boyfriend, Ulster Sanders, 61, were arrested without incident on November 9th, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, after a Dougherty County grand jury indicted them on 5 counts each, including felony murder. They have also been charged with cruelty to children in the first degree, aggravated battery, concealing the death of another person, and conspiracy to conceal the death of another person. The indictment said that the two had submerged parts of Kenyatta's body in hot water, leading to her death. First Coast News, a local news station, reported. The authorities did not announce a motive in the case. Sechrist did not want to elaborate on the murder during the press conference, but the murder indictment for the two of them stated they submerged Kenyatta's legs and feet in hot water and did not seek medical attention for the severe burns. The water was so hot it caused disfigurements to her body. Through genetic genealogy done in 2022, they had connected Kenyatta to Albany, Georgia, but no one there seemed to know who she may have been in life. They also connected her to Albany because an Albany newspaper was found near the cabinet. The last information that was released to the public regarding this case is that Kenyatta's mother and her then boyfriend were sitting behind bars, and Kenyatta's father's identity is still unknown. This is truly such a heartbreaking case, and a lot of people from the very start, due to her being so young and there being no missing persons report ever matching up with her, believed that she may have been killed by her guardians, whether that being biological or adoptive. Those people were correct. Authorities also were unsure if possibly she died by accident and then someone just disposed of her remains and hoped that they would never be found. Now we know, though, that her death was intentional, and it was done by individuals who should have protected her and loved her. When she was first identified, my inbox was flooded with people requesting me to do an update, and as soon as I saw that there had been an update in this case, I freaked out a little bit, and I just had to do as much looking into it as possible because it just made me so happy that she was finally identified. So many people, even all these years later, care deeply for this little girl, and I hope that justice at the end of the day will be served. I usually end a lot of my Jane and John Doe videos just saying that I hope that I can come back on my channel with an update and let you all know that they have in fact been identified, and I just love when I'm finally able to do that. This video did focus on just Jane Does, and it's not because I just wanted to leave John Does out of it. None of the John Does that I have covered have been identified, so there's no new information for me to really come forward with. Comes more updates in these cases, not just Jane and John Doe cases, but murder cases in general, disappearance cases. Every single year that I've been on my channel, so many cases are being solved. And I feel like a lot of that thanks is to things like genetic genealogy. But before I end this video, I'm not entirely sure if I am going to come out with another video before the year is out. I'm going to try, but if I don't, I will see you at the very beginning of 2024. I just want to thank you all for another year of support. It means the world to me. I have been on YouTube since the beginning of 2016. This year coming up is going to be the 8th, 8 years on YouTube of me doing this, and I don't want to stop anytime soon. I really enjoy what I do here on this little corner of YouTube. I hope you all are having an incredible holiday season. Stay safe, and I will see you all in the next one.